Good morning. My name is Anthony Davis. I'm an estate planning attorney with the law offices of Christopher Nudo. What we're going to do today is we're going to go over three important things to keep in mind when talking to your adult children about estate plans. So, summary is this is how to best set them up for success so that they can fulfill this job competently and in as stress-free a manner as possible. So the first one is to not delay the conversation. So this is the most common one that gets violated. It's a tough conversation. We're talking about something that's highly emotional and also highly unpleasant. And for a lot of people, what the temptation is to just delay the conversation. And by doing that, they actually make things quite a bit more difficult for their kids. Remember, when a loved one passes away or gets sick, it's a highly emotional experience. Everyone has a different movie playing in their head. And by having the conversation now, by opening the floor to that, you're making it possible to work through those emotional issues now, make sure everyone is on the same page rather than waiting until there's a disaster. And then we're kind of just hoping that everybody is in the right psychological, emotional frame of mind. The next thing is to get their input. So, back when I started doing estate planning, something that I found that was too common with practitioners is the client would come on in, everything would be hyper rational. What they would do is the attorney would just ask for names to put on power of attorney documents, to put on wills as the executor, and to put on trusts as the successor trustee. But they wouldn't get those agents' input, those fiduciaries' input. And this would create a problem down the line because years go on by, person passes away, and now that aunt or that uncle or that child now steps up to this role. And it turns out that they never felt comfortable in that role in the first place. And now we have a problem because somebody that really didn't want to be an executor, really didn't want to be a trustee or power of attorney agent, has been thrust into that role and now has a big job. So we want to make sure that we get the input from those fiduciaries, from those people that we're going to depend upon to do the right thing after we pass away and when we get sick, and make sure that we get their input so we know that we're selecting the right people and that they're going to be comfortable in that role. And then the last thing, and this is in line with number one and number two, is we want to clearly explain those roles. Okay, so we want to set expectations. Another unfortunate thing that I would see when I first started practicing estate planning was, again, client comes on in, attorney takes those names down, there's no input from those agents, and our client or the attorney don't clearly explain what is going to be expected of them when they wake up one day and they find out that they've been nominated to be an executor or a successor trustee or a power of attorney agent. So, to kind of broadly describe that, to kind of help you guys out, if somebody's been designated as an agent under a healthcare power of attorney, what that means is that that child, when you get sick and you're in the hospital and you can't make decisions on your own, they're going to be the one making these tough healthcare decisions. And we want to make sure that person understands that that's what their role is going to be and that they're comfortable with making those tough healthcare decisions. If it's financial in nature, if they've been designated as a power of attorney for finance agent, or if they've been designated as a trustee or an executor, those two roles, principally what you're doing is gathering up assets and distributing them. We want to make sure that they understand what that job is going to be proportional to the nature of the estate. So if you own three pieces of property and you've got your son as the financial power of attorney agent, it should be understood that if he takes on that role, he's going to be managing three pieces of property. If they're being rented out, he's going to be dealing with those relationships. if you get sick and you pass away and he's been listed as the successor trustee, there should be an understanding that he's going to have to at least do 3 real estate transactions in that instance. And we want to make sure that this has been clearly explained to him, because if it's been clearly explained to him, then we know we can get accurate input on whether he feels comfortable with this task. And if he doesn't feel comfortable with this task, now we know maybe that we should select someone else. And this is the big benefit of not delaying the conversation. So thank you. Those are the 3 critical communications to have with your family about an estate plan in order to set them up for success and making sure that we're going to have a smooth transfer of the assets and that this is going to be a reasonable experience, not a headache and not a burden for them. If you guys have any further questions, feel free to reach out to me. My direct number is 847-906-0005. I'll be happy to hear from you. But take care. Have a great rest of your day.